Hey guys, it's Jeff from Pressure Luck. So, it's Passover week, and in keeping with that tradition, I'm going to make the dish today that is the most popular dish, at least at my Seder. The one that would be no point in even having a Seder if this dish didn't make an appearance at the table. I don't know if Elijah's coming to that door, but I'm telling you this dish is coming. I'm talking about that fantastic, wonderful Jewish brisket. This is a recipe that my mother makes all the time, and it came to her courtesy of her friend Helene, and I have now taken it myself, and I make it a lot, but it's never been done in the Instant Pot, at least not in our family. But that all changes today. Let's go to it, guys. Seder, Passover brisket, but you can have this brisket at any time of year. It's that good. Let's go.
First things first, we want to use a brisket that's about 3 to 4 pounds. This is closer to 4 pounds. And go to Costco if you can and get the cut of meat. I find that they have the best cuts of brisket, great sizes, and just excellent quality. Costco brisket.
And because we're putting this in the Instant Pot, we want to take this brisket. First, we want to look at it in the bottom and see if there's a lot of fat on it. This actually isn't bad at all. It's, as you can see, not too much, and we wanted it to have some fat on there. We want to cut it in half so we can fit in the pot. And cut it against the grain, not with it. That means when one thing is going in one direction, you want to cut it against that in the opposite. And voila! 2 briskets!
And then get a big frying pan and put it on your stove, and then turn on to high. Just like that. We're gonna sear that meat in there.
So what we want to do now, while that pan is heating up, we want to take some kosher salt, and we want to make sure we rub it all nicely into the brisket, like almost like massage it in there. So it's really rubbed all in. Keep getting the salt, get it throughout, and really bathe the brisket in the kosher salt, just like that. And then get the other one as well. And now I'm going to take one half at a time and put the side that I just salted down in the pan so it sears. And while that side is searing, I'm going to take my salt and now rub it into the side that is not. But try not to burn your hands while you're doing this. I'm living on the edge. And now we're going to flip our meat over. That's perfect, just like that. And for another 3 to 4 minutes on the other side. And make sure you just kind of press it down a little bit. Smells so good. Look at that. Perfect. What I'm going to now do is I'm going to transfer it to the Instant Pot. The trivet is already here and it's already in the pot. And I'm just going to lay it right on top, just like that, so that the fat side is up and it's sitting on our trivet just like that. And now I'm just going to repeat the process of searing for the other half, and I'm just going to lay it right on top of that piece.
I want to take 3 medium to small size yellow onions and just chop them up just like this.
So I want to take about a handful of the chopped onions, and then I want to just basically take it and put it kind of on top of the first piece of brisket in the pot. Just like so. Take the other piece of brisket and lay it right on top, kind of in a crisscross kind of way, in there. Just like that, the fat side up. And then I want to coat that with the rest of the onions, and just like layer it all basically in the pot and coat the meat. And now we have to make our sauce. Let's start with 1.5 cups of water, 1.5 cups of ketchup. I'm adding about a teaspoon of crushed or minced garlic, and 3/4 cup of white vinegar. Okay, and now we're going to add about 3/4 cup of brown sugar, dark or light, but I think dark is best for the color. And then just mix all that up so it becomes this delicious sauce. So I have to confess that when I first made this recipe, I was like grossed out that I was using ketchup and vinegar and water mixed together. It was just so unappealing to me, but no, magic happens when this thing cooks, and it's absolutely stellar. So the next step will be to take our sauce mixture and then just simply pour it all over our brisket. Just give it a nice pour all over. And if any of our onions have fallen off because you're a clumsy pourer like me, just, put them back on a little bit so they're back in place. All right, great. And now we're going to add our lid to the cooker. Make sure we're in sealing position. And then we're going to come down here and I'm going to hit manual, and we're going to go for a whooping, because this is a brisket, let's not forget, kind of like the corned beef and cabbage. We're going to go for 75 minutes. Go. Okay, because I really love my brisket super tender, I'm cooking it for 75 minutes in there with a 15-minute natural release. If you like your brisket still tender but a little firmer, do it for 60 minutes with a 15-minute natural release. If you're an expert cutter like I am, you can make nice slices and have a really good knife with the 75 minutes, but it's probably going to be more likely to shred apart a little bit. So again, 75 minutes for super tender and 15-minute natural release, 60 minutes for nice and tender but a little firmer for 15-minute natural release.
And now that that's done, we're gonna do a 15-minute natural release. Wait till that gets to 15. Okay, and our 15 minutes are up, so now we're going to do a quick release. And our pin just dropped, so let's open it up and see how it looks. We did something right. And then carefully I've transferred the brisket to a cutting board, and I'm just gonna let it cool. So it'll be much easier to cut when it's a little more firm, because it is super tender. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch mixed with 2 tablespoons of water to create a slurry. And then just pour it to the sauce that's inside of our Instant Pot. And by the way, that right now I have it on the keep warm setting. And then just stir it all up, and it'll give the sauce a little bit of thickness, which is how I love it.
And now we are ready to carve up our brisket. So look at this though, how beautiful this is when it cooks. So you have those nice roasted edges that some people really love, and it's so tender. Look, and I just touch it, it's just so tender. So what I'm gonna start by doing is I'm gonna just trim off this little layer of fat, and it should just come right off real easy. See that? So easily, that comes right off. And after trimming the fat off the tops of the briskets, I'm gonna now start to slice it. You really do want it to cool so it's easily sliceable. Nice and easy. We wanna cut it across the grain just like this. Oh my God. There we go. So after we're done cutting up all the meat, we're gonna put it back into the pot, and then all the juices are gonna soak into it, and it's gonna be miraculous.
There is our cut up brisket. Now we're gonna transport this back into the pot. So take the brisket and put it back inside and let it marinate in that delicious sauce we've created.
All right, guys, here it is, all plated, and I don't even need a knife because this is so insanely tender to watch. I'm just gonna be able to cut it just like that and just try it out. Here we go. This is some of the most tender, most moist brisket you'll ever have, and the sauce is unbelievable. It's like a wonderful sweet sauce with a little bit of sour in there, slightly from the vinegar. It's so delicious, so simple to make. Just make sure you really do let it cool before you cut it, so it gets nice and firm, because it can shred apart so easily considering how tender it is. And make sure you have a good knife when you're cutting it as well against the grain. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this wonderful recipe. And please subscribe to Pressure Luck Cooking at Facebook. That's facebook.com/Pressure Luck Cooking. And, shalom.